And while it's hard to rely on something like Rate My Professors, it might be worth pointing out that his professor rating is almost entirely impeccable for the years he has been in the spotlight as a dark web intellectual or what have you. However, if you scroll back to the early years, you'll notice that his reviews dropped significantly during the time he was less famous. But what I mainly want to...
Okay, so it's actually funny. I went and I looked at this.
Wow, nice.
This isn't true. This is completely untrue. I was thinking about trying to add them all up to get an average, but it was just there was way too many reviews to get it work to do that. But if you go back and you look at his reviews, before before 2016 or 2015, they're almost the exact same reviews that he gets now. They're all, oh wow, Jordan Peterson, this is like the best teacher I ever had. He changed my life. Like, it's the amount of like overwhelming positive reviews of people saying that Jordan Peterson changed their life before he was famous. These are just random students who took his class. Is like, it's like 80% of the comments.
Yeah.
Is that. And then, every so often there's one comment that's like, I don't like Jordan Peterson, and it's very obvious they don't like him for political reasons.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't like Jordan Peterson because either A, I don't agree with his politics, and he seems to be. There's someone who's actually complaining about him being not politically correct before like wokeness was a thing.
Really?
Yes, because he was like, they're like, I didn't like he was dismissive of like feminist critique of blah 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 blah, and then a lot of the only like other people that were like rating him poorly were people who were like, oh, he lectures for too long, his tests are too hard, and the tests, the tests are not based on the reading material, so it's not fair.
Because he wants you to go to the fucking lecture.
Right? Yeah, because I guess the test is based off of the lecture. That's
so many.
Like it's so hilarious that he's like, oh, the test, the scores go down. It's like, yeah, there's a handful of low scores, but they're still overwhelmingly positive.
This is how I did great in college. Because if I would always go to the lectures and I have a good memory for what I hear, and I would never read the book. I never open the book.
Too.
I never crack the book. And 90% of the test is always on the lecture because obviously the instructor's going to make the test on what they've been in class talking about, not some fucking shit you were supposed to read.
Right.
And so I would always get like A's and B's because I would miss like 10% of the test because I didn't read the book.
Yeah, that was literally what I did in high school and what I did in college too. Though there'd occasionally be the bad situation where you get some one weird teacher who would who would give you like the test on like almost exclusively the book instead, and you're like, what the hell? We didn't talk about any of this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there were always the dumbasses who completely inverted that. They never wanted to go to class and they only did the reading, and they would show up for the test and they wouldn't know any fucking shit.
That seemed to be a lot of the negative, like the majority of the handful of negative critiques against him were the people who wanted to read the book and not listen to the lecture.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Sorry. Not sorry.
To point out is that both the good and bad reviews.
You know why I went to the lectures, Sitch?
Yeah. Why?
You know why I went to the lectures? Why I didn't stay home and read the book?
Why did you go to the lectures? Why?
Where do you think the girls are, man? Obviously. Fucking duh. Fuck, duh.
Oh, how did I not guess? It's Adam we're talking about. Where did I not
Where do you think the ladies were?
Yes.
They're in the fucking class.
And this is so funny, too. So, Cody Johnson, again, he like cannot help but lie. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Of course. Okay.
So
Cody's a like fucking liar. Okay.
Right. He's like, oh, the reviews before Jordan Peterson became famous, they were much more negative, right? So you assume that he's then talking about some negative review before he's more famous. And that he displays on screen a review from 2019.
Oh my. So it's some hit piece review from some
Who
internet
knows? It could
warrior.
be. Yeah, it's just like ridiculous.
What a loser.
Comment that above all else, Jordan Peterson is a really good lecturer. He's passionate, entertaining, engaging, and unique in that regard. But what a lot of the average or poor reviews argue is that his information is often flawed. Meanwhile, the positive reviews often credit him with, quote, changing their lives, which to me sounds like a motivational speaker more than a teacher. In other words...
Yeah, teachers never change your life, dumbass.
What is he talking... I don't know. Maybe Cody never went to college.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I've had teachers in college. I've had teachers in high school that you'd say like, "Oh, this teacher changed." I had a teacher in middle school. I was like, "Wow, this teacher changed my life. This teacher was amazing." And that's such a common thing to hear if you have a really amazing teacher. Say like, "Oh man, this teacher was fantastic. He really changed my life. Really changed the way I look at the world." That's such a common thing for people to say about great teachers. It's such a weird thing for Cody to fixate on and be like, "Well, why is they saying this about a teacher?"
Yeah. No, I had plenty of teachers that, you know what? I don't even remember. Like, they didn't change my life in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
Yeah. Because they were just dead weight, basically.
Right.
Yeah. It was a slog to get through their class.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I have there's only like a handful of teachers' names I can remember, but those were the ones.
Obviously.
Ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were all enlightened centers.
They make it all worthwhile. Can you imagine if you had no teacher that was like the life-changing teacher?
Right. You'd become Cody Johnston.
You would, yeah. You'd just be out there on the internet trying to get Jordan Peterson to notice you.
Listen, Cody. Fat, stupid, and lazy is no way to go through life.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he's a commie, so obviously.
Oh, okay. Maybe that is the way to go through.
In other words, he's great at talking, but doesn't seem, to put it politely, beholden to facts, which you might realize is probably bad for...
Dude, that's so ironic. Did you hear what he just said, Sitch?
He's good at talking, but not beholden to facts. I
know.
Not
beholden to facts.
See, here's what I think's going on. I don't think there's a teleprompter in front of Cody. I think there's just a giant mirror, and he's just staring at himself.
Yeah, it must
they're like,
be.
go nuts on this guy. This guy's a piece of shit.
Not beholden to facts. Okay, Cody. As you're on your, you're going into triple-digit lies here. We're only 38 minutes in, so...
a teacher. And while that's from a bunch of anonymous reviews on a website, everything I just said was echoed by a former colleague and mentor and friend from the University of Toronto named Bernard Schiff. According to his op-ed...
Bernard Shit. Remember this one? Remember old Bernard Shit?
Yes.
Fucking... Yes. It's funny because we've been following Jordan Peterson long enough that we know all of these
remember
articles.
All this when it happened, yeah.
Yeah. This guy... is super fucking chapped that he's, Jordan Peterson has eclipsed his importance, his academic importance. This guy, this whole article is just dripping with, I am seething with jealousy. It is.
It is.
Old Bernard Shit is one of those people you can tell who thinks, looks down his nose at you. The little people. I am the academic here. How dare Jordan Peterson?
I went back and I read the article again.
Okay.
It's been a long time. And you're right, because it's like the beginning of the article is all about how he basically made Jordan Peterson's career, because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have been accepted into the University of Toronto.
Yes, I discovered Jordan Peterson.
Right.
And this is how he repays me.
Yep, it's really sad. Actually, it's really sad.
It is, yeah.
It's the classic. What is the phrase? Never outshine the master.
It is, yeah, exactly. This is syndrome right here.
Yeah.
From.
Well, no, it's like reverse syndrome because he was the one who was the older person.
Right. Yeah. Yes. He thinks he made him. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Schiff was actually the reason Peterson was hired. He had campaigned for him, put him under his wing like an old widower trying to help a surly Bostonian genius. According to Schiff, Peterson, quote, objected in principle to having his research reviewed by the University Research Ethics Committee.
Ooh, I wonder why. Can you think of any reason why someone would do that? Why you would want your research reviewed by some fucking woke committee?
No, that's not why, Adam. It's because Jordan Peterson wanted to do Nazi experiments in his office, obviously.
Is that what it is? He wanted to do the race and IQ survey.
No. Jordan Peterson, he ripped out the calipers and he wanted to start measuring the skull sizes of all students. Okay. It's like, I just want to get to the bottom of this to see if the skulls mean anything.
People
They associate
don't know
with
that
grade.
people don't. The Cody Johnson haters that are going to be in our comment section don't know that you're kidding, Sitch. They don't. They think, oh look, they're talking openly about the calipers.
That makes it funny. That makes it even funnier. Okay.
Yeah, because they're a bunch of dipshits.
Yes.
Upon reading reviews, Schiff noticed that students, much like his online reviews, credited Peterson for changing their lives. But again, like his online reviews, he also noticed students flagging him for, quote, delivered truths. And so finally, Schiff decided to sit in on one of Peterson's classes, only to discover that, to put it politely, Peterson was full of shit most of the time. Or to quote the op-ed, Jordan presented conjecture as statement of fact many times throughout his lectures. Every time Schiff called him out for it, Peterson would acknowledge that he was doing it, and that it was bad for him to do it before continuing to confidently throw out his own opinions or bullshit theories like they were proven reality.
I really wish he would give examples, like what exactly he's talking about.
Yeah, he gives, in the article, he gives no examples of what he's talking about.
Yeah, which makes it seem like shit is just full of shit.
To quote the op-ed again, he was a preacher more than a teacher.
And then in the end of the article, he does that weird thing about how he wants to buy a church or something.
Yeah, and of course Cody brings it up. Well, it's very, when you read the article, it's very obvious that A, as you said, he's super jealous, and B, like, it's disgusting because you feel like he could just talk to Jordan Peterson if he's really his friend.
Yeah.
Which it sounded like he was from the article, at least at some point in his life, that he could just sit down and have a conversation with Jordan Peterson. But instead, it's like he read a bunch of the hit pieces about him, and he just assumed that the hit pieces were true because they're in a fucking newspaper. It said, "Oh my, you must have gone crazy now."
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
How dare he get more famous than me? Here, let me see if I can get some coattail clicks out of this guy.
Right. There's even he was even in an interview too, so he got his coattail clicks.
Oh, he did get his coattail clicks.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Phrasing that I'm sure will not come up again. But it seems like what made Peterson a beloved teacher is directly related to his ability to state complete hogwash with a level of confidence only an old white guy could get away with.
See, none of this. Yeah.
He throws the race stuff in for no reason.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If Jordan Peterson was black, well, no one would have liked him then.
Cody hates himself.
Hey,
Cody hates his skin color every time he looks in the mirror.
Does.
He's like, he feels, oh God, why did I have to be born this color?
That's right. There's a mirror in front of him that he's staring at, and there's a big sign next to it that says remember your guilt.
None
There's
of
a bottle
this,
of bleach under it.
None of this is based in any evidence. I like to look at evidence when I don't like to just talk a bunch of nonsense bullshit. Okay.
Right.
Nobody gave an example of anything that he said or did, or nobody called a witness. You just used anonymous fucking posters online. And you're just, this accusation, Jordan Peterson confidently spouts bullshit in the classroom, is fallacious. I mean, what's it based on?
Right. And then he even twists it further than that, because all the guy in the article said was that he said Jordan Peterson was a great lecturer. He was very captivating. But sometimes he would say his personal conjectures as if they're facts. And then Cody turns that into Jordan Peterson was a good speaker because he lied all the time. It's like, that's not even what the article said.
Yeah.
Like, he's making it sound like Jordan Peterson went up there and he's like some kind of like used car salesman. And he's just saying whatever he thinks people want to hear. And that's what makes him a good, that's why the students liked him.
Well, the personal conjecture could be actually correct. That's why it would be nice to look at the claims that were being made.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe he said something like capitalism lifts people out of poverty, and this leftist, communist, jealous instructor who's sitting in on his classes, that's not correct. I read Marx last week and he said that was a lie. Like, we don't know until we actually look at one of the claims. We don't know if they're factually correct or not. I mean, I got no problems with Jordan Peterson saying what I just said because it's true.
Yep.
It's true. And it's based on the best clinical research.